in ancient Rome? Day 1. You arrive in Rome with flour, cheese, crushed tomatoes, olive oil, and a clay oven on a cart. The forum is chaos. Merchants shouting, gladiators passing through. You set up your station and start cooking. You stretch the dough perfectly and pull out the first slice. The smell cuts through smoke and sweat. Gladiator smells it. 20 men stop mid-step. Day 2. People start to queue up. You call it fire bread. You park near the Colosseum. 30 gladiators line up before training. 2 silver coins a slice. By noon, you've made a week's wage. Day 3. Disaster. Cheese spoils in the Mediterranean heat. Nearly everything wasted. You cross the Tiber at sunrise and find a dairy farmer outside the city walls. Fresh cheese. Every morning. Crisis is handled. Week 1. Socrates is traveling by Rome. He asks you, if the dough is your power, what are you without it? You feel like throwing. You season the chicken and prepare it. Lower it into hot oil. The crackling sound cuts through conversation. The smell spreads through warm Mediterranean air. 20 men gather up and stare at you. Day 2. You set up outside the Acropolis of Athens. People wait hours for your meat. They start calling it Golden Bird. 30 athletes line up after training. Grease on their fingers. Silence while chewing. By nightfall, you've made a week's wage. Day 3. Things go downhill. Oil needs replacing. Chicken spoils in the heat. Half your stock wasted. You cross the countryside at sunrise. Strike a deal with a farmer outside the city walls. Fresh chicken and oil every morning. Week 1. Socrates approaches your stand. You decide you're gonna sun. They only eat stale bread. You grab your meat and roll it into a ball. You press the patty onto the iron. The sizzle cuts through desert wind. The smell drifts across hot sand. Workers stop working and admire your stand. Day 2. You set up near the pyramid site. People wait in the shade for your meat. They start calling it meat of the gods. 30 laborers line up before sunrise. Grease on their fingers. But they don't care. By nightfall, you fed every single worker. Day 3. Things go downhill. A governor comes up to your stand and asks who gave you permission to sell. He tells you to close up shop and leave. You say nothing and hand him a burger. One bite and he folds. As long as you give the governors free burgers, no one will disturb you. Week 1. Socrates is touring in Egypt. He comes up and asks you, if the burger is your power, what are... You cut him off. You've had enough of this bum. You tie him up and send him back to Greece. There's no way he comes back, right? The Romans demand more, so you get help from a farmer. Fresh ingredients every morning. Week 1. An odd individual approaches your stall. He asks you, if the sugar is your power, what are you without it? You realize it's Socrates in disguise. You ask him how the fuck you possess chemicals no one here has ever seen. The streets feel slow. People sit around with low cortisol, seeking for any sort of stimulation. You set up a small table and get to cooking. You start mixing your chemicals, putting together formulas. The mixture bubbles. Then something forms. The purest crystal anyone has ever seen. People gather and stare at you. Day 2. Word spreads through Athens. People whisper about the blue crystals. People line up to see the hype. One man tries it. His eyes widen instantly. Cortisol spikes for the first time in years. He feels alive. By sunset, not a single person is bored. Day 3. The demand starts to explode. People can't stop coming. They beg for more. You're making a farmer's yearly wage every day. You spend the entire night cooking. Blue crystals forming in glass containers. This isn't a small business anymore. You're on road to a drug empire. Week 1. Socrates comes up to your stand. He looks at your crystals and calls you a goddamn artist. For the first time, Socrates didn't hate. He asks if he can be your cook partner. You tell him to fuck through the village. They only eat maize and beans. You roll up corn balls and press the corn dough flat onto the iron pan. You then slap your meat onto the pan. The sizzling and smell cuts through the air. People gather around your stand. No one has ever smelled anything like it. Day 2. Word spreads through the city. Lines form before sunrise. People call them sunbreads. Warriors take bites. Oil and crumbs spill everywhere, but they don't care. By sunset, you've made a week's wage. Day 3. Meals start to backfire. Warriors start to miss training to use the bathroom, but the lines only get longer. People crowd your stall. The demand gets overwhelming. You struggle to keep up. Week 1. An odd customer skips the line before you can say anything. He asks you, if your meat is your power, what are you without it? You look closer and discover it's fucking to a bowl and you start whisking it. You pour the mixture into fresh milk and ice. People stare. A bright green drink appears. Day 2. You set up next to the Colosseum. People start to line up. They call it drink of the earth. A soldier takes a sip. He instantly becomes calm and takes home another 4 cups. By sunset, everyone in the city is holding green. Day 3. Everyone in the city has tasted your fluids. The demand keeps growing. People start to debate with each other while holding matcha. The city is drinking more matcha than ever. By midday, your milk barrels are empty. You have nothing left to mix, so you visit nearby farms and strike deals with Roman farmers. Every morning, carts of fresh milk arrive at your stall. Week 1. You're just minding your business and working, and you see fuck around around and stare at you. Day 2. You set up near a landmark. People line up at your stall. They call them rings of the gods. A man takes a bite. He almost faints with happiness. He tells you to put the donuts in the bag. He takes home 20 by sunset. The sugar rush kicks in. The city doesn't sleep. Day 3. The city is addicted. People walk around holding bags of donuts. Philosophers start debating with frosting all over their robes. The demand doesn't stop. Gladiators chase the sugar rush before training. Week 1. You're minding your business frying donuts. 1. You arrive in Rome carrying cocoa beans, pistachios, and kunafa. Sweets in the markets are luxury. These guys only eat rotten meat and bread. You grind the beans into a paste and pour it into molds. Then you layer it with kunafa paste. Once they set, you break the bar open. Thick green filling spills out. People stop walking and gather around you. Day 2. You set up near the Colosseum. People line up outside your stall. They call it green turds. A Roman soldier takes one bite. He freezes. He buys 10 more to give his whole family diabetes. By sunset, Rome is covered in chocolate wrappers. Day 3. The city is addicted. The demand only grows. A gladiator comes to you. He asks you to make a batch for the whole army before training. They want the sugar rush during training. By midday, you run out of milk, so you walk over the river Tiber to strike deals with farmers. You now have fresh milk every morning. Week 1. You see that someone is stealing. You get closer and catch the thief. It's Socrates stealing a grill, a blender, and ton of ice. You see workers pushing hard. In the heat, they're only allowed to eat bread. You load up the blender with ice, pour milk, and cold chocolate ice cream. You blend it all together. The noise of the blender is heard across the desert. You've made the first milkshake. The thirsty workers stop working and gather around your stall. Day 2. Thirsty workers line up outside your stall. They call it Ice of the Gods. A worker just finished a 20-hour shift. He takes one sip and he freezes. All the other workers can't hold back. In hours, every worker's thirst is filled. Week 1. The city is addicted, but milkshakes are not enough. They want proper food. So you whip out your meat and press it into patties. You put them onto the grill. The sizzling and smell cuts through the desert. You prepare burgers and make sure every worker gets a bite. Week 3. Your very good friend Socrates is visiting Egypt. He comes up to your stand and asks you, if your meat is your power, what are you without it? You laugh and tell him that was a good one. You hand him a milkshake. He drinks it without question. He wakes up on a You arrive in Rome carrying rice, beans, and avocados. The Romans are eating stale bread. You start cooking rice in a clay pot. You grill the meat over an open fire. Then you mash avocados into green paste. You wrap everything in a tortilla. The first burrito in Rome is born. But this time, only 2 people gather around to watch. Day 2. Very few people line up. They call them rolls of the gods. A Roman takes a bite, he freezes, then buys 5 more by sunset. You have made less money than expected. Something isn't right. Week 1. You're barely getting customers, so you introduce the burrito bowl system. Rice, beans, and sour cream sauce. Then the sacred green guacamole. Roman soldiers eat the chipotle bowls. They say the bowls give them power, but then suddenly half your customers disappear. Week 2. You see a crowd forming. Standing in the middle of the street is or spin. The noise around your table grows louder every hour. Roman soldiers bet their wages and leave with empty pockets. Week 2. Socrates is in town. He approaches you and asks, if the wheel gives you money, what are you without it? You say nothing and challenge him to a game. Socrates puts everything he has on black. You spin the wheel, the ball lands on red. You steal all of Socrates' full bowl. He eats it, his face turns red. He runs in circles through the market. Then 3 more soldiers step forward. Day 3. Temple priests hear about it. They say the noodles are cursed. Food touched by the god of fire. They try to seize your pot. You pack everything before sunset. That night, you sell from an alley behind the market. The first secret bowl sells for 10 silver. You've created the first black market for noodles. Week 1. A strange hooded man approaches. Wait, is that